Hi everyone and welcome back to another video with me Shruti Vashisht. You're watching Living Our Ascension. In today's video we're going to do a reading. Of course this is the weekly reading that I do every week, and today I'm doing something a little bit different. I'm using a book in order for us to get messages, and this book is the book called The Prophet by Khalil Gibran. And it's a really beautiful book. You can't see it because there's so much exposure, but it's this light blue color with the golden beautiful painting on it. Wait, perhaps you can see it better now. Yeah, so it's a really pretty, very pretty cover, very pretty book, and it just has these different, this poetry. Basically Khalil Gibran is a famous poet and writer. So in this book basically he has written on different subjects, like on marriage, on laws, everything that applies to life, and bringing a spiritual perspective on giving, on love. There's a chapter on what else is there, let me see, the farewell, religion, beauty, good and evil, time, teaching, self-knowledge, pain. So it's like short chapters on all of these different things, and this book is really pretty because it even has pictures, illustrations, and I'll show you them. But what we're going to do today is we're going to choose, for each choice number 1, 2 or 3, we're going to pull one chapter, and I'm going to read the lines that stick out to me. Of course I won't read the whole chapter, it'll just be 1 or 2 lines, and we'll go with that message. Basically that'll be bringing us a message, and I'll show you a picture if it's there and it's applicable. Okay, so before we get into the reading, check out some links below this video. I have links to courses. There's even a course at a discount right now, and I have personal services that you can order to work with me and to accelerate your self-mastery. There's even I keep forgetting to mention in these videos, but I have services to channel messages for you where you don't have to meet me face to face on Skype or Zoom, but I just send you the message. It'll speak about where you are in your journey, what stage of ascension and stuff like that, or the message that you most need right now. Okay, so let's get into the reading. So choose either number 1, 2 or 3, and then you can scroll through this video. I'll put the timestamps below and you can just listen to your message there. Okay, so if you chose number 1, I'm going to randomly just get a page. Ooh, it opened on the first page. It's called Freedom. So freedom is what you need right now. Oh, this is okay. So let me just see what stands out to me, what sticks out. And my heart bled within me, for you can only be free when even the desire of seeking freedom becomes a harness to you, and when you cease to speak of freedom as a goal and a fulfillment. So isn't this beautiful? You shall be free indeed when your days are not without a care, nor your nights without a want and grief, but rather when these things girdle your life, and yet you rise above them naked and unbound. And of course there's so much more, so I won't read all of that. But yeah, that message really hit home for me. You can only be free when even the desire of seeking freedom becomes a harness to you, and when you cease to speak of freedom as a goal and as fulfillment. So what this means to me, first of all, you feel it within your own heart. You can rewind this, the part where I'm speaking the line, and listen to it again and feel into it if you want. But basically to me it's like that freedom is not a goal. When we deem something as a goal, it's like we are here and that thing is here, whereas the only way that we achieve anything really, achievement, how we do that is that we know that we are that now, that essence. So if freedom is what you need most right now, think of it in your life. Where is it that you need freedom? Why is this message coming to you now? Somewhere you are not giving yourself perhaps enough freedom, and there's greater freedom actually available to you and you don't even know it, or perhaps there's a new cycle of that landing. You haven't realized it right now. So I'm getting this really expansive energy within my heart as I say this, so it's really exciting. But the way that we truly can experience that freedom that is available to us is that we have to claim and know it's here. I have it here, it's now. For example, I live in India, I live in Delhi. It's like the national capital of the world when it comes to crime against women. You go out after 8 p.m. when it gets dark and you can get raped and stuff. It's like not a uncommon thing here. So but and the way that people dress and all of that, like it's more conservative, as you know, in Indian culture and all of that. But recently I've been just like you see me when I'm in these videos, I'm wearing certain things. I definitely won't like be wearing something that reveals like my cleavage and stuff and just hang around alone. But recently I've been giving myself more permission to be free, because this is me, this is what I am, so I should be able to wear whatever I want and express myself how I want, especially if I'm not harming anyone else. And I've been doing a little bit more of that in order to experience that freedom, because I know at a deeper level that I can create any type of freedom that I want. So yeah, you don't have to go all the way always, but you take whatever you are comfortable with. So what freedom means to you now, where you're feeling restricted perhaps, how can you get yourself to feel more free, and take a part of that you can actually apply, that you feel comfortable applying. So to start with something small, because we feel that what is it going to bring us, I'm just doing something small, but that's not what it is. It's alchemy, like you're changing things within when you're moving into freedom. So even when you allow a little bit, light comes rushing in, and then it gives you that impetus to do more if that is what you want. So that's what I feel, that you have to know that freedom is here for you now. Don't wait for something to happen in your life. It's here, it's now. You can create it. You have complete and utter freedom. So I hope you enjoyed this message. Let me see if there's a picture with this. This chapter doesn't seem to have a picture. So yeah, I don't think these have pictures like for every chapter. It's like just at the end of, there's this one at the end of a few series of chapters, which includes this one. So I'm going to let you interpret that the way that you want. And that's it. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video if you got some wisdom today, and I will see you in my next video. Okay, you guys, if you chose number 2, then I'm just going to open it to a random page. Wow, you got beauty. So I'm going to see which line sticks out to me. Okay, so the last line sticks out to me, and it says, people of Orphalese, beauty is life when life unveils her holy face. It's okay if you don't understand this, because it's in continuation of the rest of the chapter, but the lines that are coming up are more important. But you are life, and you are the veil. Beauty is eternity, gazing at itself in a mirror. But you are eternity, and you are the mirror. So I'm going to read that one more time and let it soak in. Okay, so guys, sorry, but the video that I made to explain this when I was still on the terrace got deleted, because I was deleting some videos where the construction noise was coming, and I accidentally basically deleted that. So I want to explain to you what this means from my perspective. So it's saying that beauty is eternity, gazing at itself in a mirror. But you are eternity, and you are the mirror. So to me, this is speaking about the concept of you as God. So you as the creator, you as God. It's kind of like God, when God looks at us, or the creator looks at us, we are its child. So we are its perfect child. Just like when you become a parent and there's a newborn baby, you're going to think that the baby is perfect, no matter how it looks, no matter how it's behaving, whatever it is. It's perfection, it's beautiful, it's love, it's joy. It's depicting even those pure essences at that level when it's just born. So that is how Source looks at us, through those eyes of perfection, and that we are perfection. So if you are looking at yourself in any other way, at something in your life where you are not looking at yourself exactly like that, what is that in your life right now? So that is where you need to bring that perspective, that you are creator, but you are also the mirror into which it's seeing. You are the creation, you are the veil, or you are the human part. So you are both. Not only are you Source, but you are also the human. And see the perfection, the beauty in that relationship, and the inherent perfection in you as that, because you are creator as well. So even though you've attached all of these things, being a human, that I'm not perfect somehow, but how can you not be perfect if you are creator? You are an extension of creator. And the only way that creator actually looks at you is as perfection. It's staring at itself in the mirror. So if you deem source and God as completely being perfect, as spirit being perfect, or whatever it is, then how can you say that you are not perfect if creator looks at itself in a mirror, and that is, you are the mirror. So that is what this is saying to me, that this is how the higher self lands as well. The I am presence, our God self, lands in the body when we apply this to all of those sides of life where we see ourselves as not perfect. So you have to know that you are beauty, you are perfection in the moment, and then we come into alignment with the higher self for that particular thing at that time then. And slowly by slowly, like this, when we apply it to life, this is how the God self lands as well in the body. When we essentially, the God self lands when we know that we are the God self, we are God, we are also creator. So this is the painting in the book for beauty, for those chapters like beauty and other chapters. It's at the end of that section. So I'm going to let you interpret that the way that you want. To me, they're mother, father, God looking at the beautiful child, which is you. Okay, so if you chose number 3, then I'm just going to pick a chapter randomly. Let's see what it is that we get. We get friendship. Okay, so let me see what line sticks out. It says here, and a youth said, "Speak to us of friendship." And he answered, saying, "Your friend is your needs answered. He is your field, which you sow with love and reap with thanksgiving." Your friend is your needs answered. He is your field, which you sow with love and reap with thanksgiving. So all these lines, this is just one line in the book, in this chapter. So all the lines are very rich. So basically, friendship is what then, according to this? When we have a certain need, especially an emotional need, a need for us to be supported on the planet, that is answered often through relationships, and one of them is friendships, of course. So when a friend shows up in your life, they're always reflecting that deeper desire that you had. So perhaps you're becoming more intimate in your friendships now, or there's some new friendship energy that's landing for you at this time. And you'll just be feeling this more intimacy, and you'll be grateful. And this is so funny because just last night it was my friend's birthday, and I made this really beautiful post for her, and it was basically exactly this: being grateful, being thankful for their presence in my life. And as I was writing it, I remembered the synchronistic way in which they came into my life. And I said that I was in San Francisco at that time, and I met them at this vegan event basically, and I almost didn't show up to that event because I was kind of tired of making an effort to go out and meet people and whatever, and something told me to go anyway, and I did, and that's where I met them. And I'm used to, because I'm so used to changing countries every 2-3 years, that it's been a bit hard to maintain friendships, and they usually seem to dissolve. And it's not only because of moving, because if that were the only reason, relationships can definitely last. It doesn't have to do with just moving, but it's because when we get on an accelerated timeline in our ascension, it's like that. People will come and then they'll disperse. It depends on our needs, on our soul needs, because I've expressed this in other videos before, that you might be meeting like humans who are not going through ascension. Basically, they might have like one long-term partner, like they get married to somebody, they immediately recognize them as like this familiarity, and they're with them. So even if there's lower dynamics playing out, there's still that bonding somehow, even if it's within codependency, and they feel within themselves that I have this purpose to be with this person, and they feel like this loyalty and this sort of long-term thing with them. That's karma, because they have karma, their souls have karma to play out in this life, and so they stick together until they reflect that to each other, both good and bad stuff. But for ascending souls, what's happening is that we're living multiple timelines in one life. So of course, like if people living in 3D would have 1 or 2 partners in this life, then they die, and then the next life when they reincarnate, they have more partners. So they go through the same souls in that way, but it's a slowed down process. Whereas for us, sometimes it can be that it's so accelerated, that we're changing so many things, and relationships included. So if you feel like a failure or something because relationships are leaving or there's no consistency there, and that calls for you also to find that consistency within, which is our own higher self, which is our own twin soul nature as well. That the beloved is always here, always inside. That is the consistency, and it calls us, it draws us into that inner marriage, basically, which leads to ascension, which is the pathway to ascension. So when you have claimed that ascension is my focus, then a lot of the times it'll be happening this way, but I was basically writing in my post how it shows me that I've had this friend, and this is the first friend that sees me basically on all levels, because I have friends from college that I'm really close to, and they're lovely and they're beautiful, and I get so much support and everything emotionally from them and all of that. It's beautiful, but they don't necessarily see this spiritual side of me. I mean, they do at some degree, but it's not like fully receiving it, whereas this person, this other friend of mine, I have that spiritual connection with them, which I've had with other people in the past but didn't last. But with this person, it's both physical and spiritual. They see me on all levels, and it's like consistent. So it's showing me how far I've come in my journey in the past 5-6 years, ever since this ascension timeline kicked in, that there's progress there, and that what I have become as well, how I know love, what I expect to create in my reality. So friends also show us, they bring us closer to that union, inner marriage with ourselves. So many people focus just on the twin flame, the beloved, my marriage partner, but friendships are equally important, and they're actually a pathway to that as well, to that union with your beloved, because the beloved lives through all. So your friend is your needs answered, your deepest desires that you have. Like I had a desire, I wrote in my post, this is so like, it's my post is a direct, almost example of everything that this is saying. That's why I keep referring to it. But I wrote in my post that I deeply needed a consistent presence in my life at that time when you showed up. I wrote this to my friend. So your friend is your needs answered, what your desires are. They are your field which you sow with love. So when you sow your friendships with love, they need the element of love as well, and you reap the results, the good things that come from it, with thanksgiving. So have gratitude for what you do have. When you have gratitude for what you do have, spirit will reveal to you what is going on at a deeper level, what that person really is, or what that connection really is, what it means, and what you have become. It essentially, everything goes back to what am I, in this now, how am I experiencing myself, because at the end of the day, all is you as well. So it's all your creation. So have gratitude and love. Show these things in your friendships, and there's a gift coming to you through that, a gift of perhaps just feeling so supported, feeling so loved, or some sort of soul codes, whatever it might be. So this is the picture in this book, the painting, that relates to this series of chapters, part of which is friendships. So that child is definitely you in the middle, and you're receiving care from many different relationships. I mean, this is my interpretation. You can interpret it any way that you want. We take care of each other. I hope that you enjoyed this message. Let me know in the comments below if it resonated with you, and give this video a thumbs up if you got some wisdom today. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you in my next video.